Hello, you beautiful beings. Thank you for watching. I'm Maya Joy, and today I'm going to talk about learning to live life one day at a time, and sort of why this is the only thing that makes sense, but also is so rare in this society, and sort of how I found my way to this and the healing power of all of it. Life happens today. Every day will always be today. The future never comes. The future never will come. Your consciousness will always be experienced inside your physical body from the present moment. You'll always be here. You'll always be now. So if you want to have a good life, I'm so sorry, you guys, there's a sound. Can you hear it? The present moment is offering us a sound. Okay, the present moment sound has dissipated somewhat. So in a very real fundamental sense, so long as you're alive in this incarnation, every experience that you have will always be a now moment. It will always be that your consciousness is here in the now. If you are okay, if you have what you need, if you are warm, if you are safe, if you are fed now, then you're okay. And I feel like so many of us, especially those of us who struggle with anxiety, find ourselves passing large amounts of time imagining potential future scenarios of hardship very often, or negative or bad things that never transpire. My greatest fears almost never manifest. I would say they never manifest. The big scary thing doesn't happen. And then I find I just wasted a ton of time fearing something that never transpired. And if I could have just come back to the now and simply responded to what was unfolding in the now, I would have saved so much energy. That's what I've seen in my life over and over and over again. So how did I find my way to the now? Well, it's been almost a year and a half now. An interview with Eckhart Tolle. He was talking about the present moment, and that was the first time that I kind of took it seriously. I'd heard a lot of people talk about being here now and coming into the present and not fixating on the past or the future. But that was the first time that I started to get the consciousness. I think I listened to it right after doing readings, and I was able to match my consciousness to his. And I really got it for the first time. So that was the first moment where I really understood. We don't have any power anywhere except in this present moment. The same summer where I heard this extended interview with Eckhart Tolle, I also discovered human design. And I discovered that I'm a generator, and I discovered the concept of sacral authority. Human design is an excellent tool for bringing yourself into the present moment. Human design gets us back in touch with our physical body and our body's signals and our body's intuition. I started to get in touch with my sacral signals, as they call them. And if you're not into human design, that's fine. But it's basically just gut instincts. And how your gut responds to different things that are around you in life. There's sacral sounds, as they call them, which are those are some of the sacral sounds you'll hear people say that are guiding us towards the things that are for us or not for us in life. So I wanted to experiment with human design. To do that, I had to start paying attention to my body. And I had to start paying attention to what I was responding to. The sacral authority works in the moment, based on the opportunities that are available now and what's showing up in our environment now. It's a response that occurs to something in the environment. So that started bringing me into the now. I started like walking around the supermarket and like holding foods, you know what I mean? Like in my hand and feeling in my body. Like, is this a or is this a or is this a I don't know, or like this isn't the right time to decide. And I started like paying attention to my body, and that kept bringing me into the now. And a big question of human design is like, do you have energy for this? Like as a generator. And there's these themes called self and not self is what they call them, which is a polite way of saying like, you're not following your design, you're failing, like the not self theme. And for generators, that's like frustration. So if you're like doing something and you're super frustrated, it means like you're going against your design in some fundamental way, at least for that moment. Either what you're doing isn't necessary, isn't a part of your design, or isn't a part of your path, or is maybe, but isn't what you should be doing right now. You're going against yourself. If you're feeling you're going against yourself, against the flow, against your design, if you're engaged in your not self. And so not self is different for each type. Like for a manifester, it's anger. For a projector, it's bitterness. But for a generator, it's frustration. For discovering human design, if I felt frustrated, I thought it was just a sign, just push harder. Strong women especially are conditioned in that way. Then I started looking at it in a new way. So I started paying attention to my feelings in the moment. Am I feeling satisfied by this? Is this a like, or is this like a and I'm like forcing. So I started to come into my body with human design way more than ever before. That's opposite to like how I was raised. So I was like raised by all these people that like work hard, they hate their job, but they make a lot of money and they save up for vacations, and then like a couple times a year they go and enjoy themselves. So I was always taught like delay enjoyment. Living a life where I do work that I love and enjoy on a daily basis and living for the day is a radical departure from how I was raised. Like creating a day-to-day life experience that feels good and not putting off feeling good for some potential future date which may never come. I think learning to live in the present moment, like truly in a fundamental sense, is a core part of my destiny. I've been teaching people how to do this in my one-on-one work with clients, and it's been great. Like, it's been so good, and just bringing people back to the safety and security of the now moment has been really, really key. But the other thing that's really brought me into the now is living with an unpredictable illness. It's wild to experience. Like, I wake up and immediately I must assess the now and come into this place of like, okay, here's what I'm working with, like on a health perspective, here's how I can make the very most of today, and like respond to that and not get caught away up in my mind of like lamenting on how 5 days ago I had this state of health and like wanting that back, or like planning for, oh, I'll do this like 7 days from now, because 7 days from now I don't know what will be possible for me based on my state of health. So living with an undiagnosed illness has brought me into the now. I would say a similar thing happens with like weather and astrology both. How can I make the very most of today? What's an aha for me? Given that it is a blizzard and it is frigid, what's oh, I have energy for that. What is that? I think being self-employed has helped bring me into the now, because not so much of life is forced. There's more choice. There's a lot that I need to get done. I work very hard. I work every day, but I have freedom in when I work, how I work, that sort of thing. The astrology, I think, it's brought me also into the now. Observing the present energies. What is the greatest good that I can do this day? What is in flow? Because the truth of the matter is some days are amazing energy days. And if you're sensitive to energy, you can feel that, like, ooh, anything's possible today. And what you create or build in that energy is totally different than, like, some days you can bring an amazing energy to the day, but the collective energy is off kilter. It's a bad astrology day. Like, the stars are not in good alignment. And like, I just take it like one day at a time. I'm always asking, how can I do the greatest good today? How can I make the most of today? But like, on a day where the stars are really in alignment, like, I can do quite considerably more than a day where they're not. But my life is a collection of days. Creating the greatest life means creating the greatest day today. And the only way to create the greatest day today is to be in today. Like, if your mind is totally fixated on yesterday or tomorrow, your creative power is not centered in any moment of power. So like, the only moment of power is now, right now. Well, everyone wants our focus, especially companies. But if you hold your focal point, right? Like, if you can hold your focus and place your focus on the things that uplift you, the things that inspire you, the things that energize you, the things that keep you believing in something more, then you've really done it. You know, if you can find some level of satisfaction given the weather, given the astrological alignment, given your state of health, that is available right here, right now. If you can find your right here, right now, then you've achieved a state of consciousness that is truly worthwhile. And it's very, very, very healing. And I still have moments where I digress from this and my mind goes away to like, oh my God, like, what if this happens? Or like, what if that happens? And I get afraid, but I just come back to the now. Like, right now, am I okay? Is that happening now? Is there anything I can do right now to prevent that from happening? If the answer is no, if the answer is it's not happening, and there's nothing I can do right now to prevent it from happening, then I'm safe to just enjoy this moment. Every moment of my life. I think I'm coming into the now moment more and more. I've come to the point where I'm not thinking much about like tomorrow or yesterday anymore. I'm just thinking, what good can I do this day? I just try to take what God, Source, the universe, the guides have given with the weather, with the alignments, with the state of health, with the inspiration, with the energy that's available, and make the very most for that day. And try to do that every day. And really, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And I don't say that to scare anyone, but it's like, this reality as an experiment could end at any moment. In the blink of an eye, we could all be in the spirit world. And it would be a waste if we'd spent the last several weeks or months planning for a future which never came. I think the only sensible thing that we can do is make the greatest meaning and find the greatest fulfillment in this day. And trust. It's mostly about releasing fear of things that don't exist. And learning to respond only to the things that do exist and the things that are showing up in my reality. And that really simplifies. You know, generators are here to respond. The strategy of a generator in human design is to respond. Learning to respond has given me the gift of presence in the moment. And it's liberated me from a bunch of fruitless endeavors. And I'm so grateful. And I'm so thankful. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video about learning to live one day at a time and being in the present moment. I hope you can find your way to the present moment more and more, and the creative power that you have here, and that you can come into your body and the sensory experience of the now, and know that you're safe here now. And every moment is always now. And that scary future moment isn't gonna just suddenly arrive. Most likely it'll never arrive. But if it does arrive, it'll happen one now moment at a time, and you'll know how to respond. You'll have that time. So the sound is back, you guys. I think it's time time to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Many blessings and namaste. Bye. Go out there, live beautifully, be a kind person in this world, and enjoy your day.